Good evening, parents, and welcome to the second of our Bulldog Way video explanation series. Tonight's video is about our positive reinforcement system within the Bulldog Way and how we use this positive behavior system in order to help our kids be successful here at school. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So we wanted to give you a little bit of information about our positive reinforcement system inside of the Bulldog Way. Why do we have this system, and then how does it help us? So just to begin, our positive reinforcement system kind of comes from some research-based theory within PBIS, or Positive Behavior Intervention Support. One of the main proponents of that is Dr. Clayton Cook, who's out of the University of Minnesota. And essentially what we've gathered from our research is that immediate, intermittent, long-term reinforcements serve as feedback and motivation to encourage expected behavior. And what that really essentially means is giving kids feedback right away when they do the right thing and reinforce that behavior over time tends to motivate kids to do the right thing. And so that's what we're trying to do with this positive behavior system. So our goal is to teach the correct behavior, and then after that reinforce that positive behavior by using some strategies that are research based, that help our kids over time learn that that's the correct behavior and continue that appropriate behavior. So we're going to use some of these strategies, that we talk about. All of it's all wrapped inside of building positive relationships and being explicit with knowing what it is that we expect of kids, similar to what we talked about last week's video. Um, with this, whenever we use this positive behavior system, it's always important that we tell kids why it is that we're recognizing that appropriate behavior, that expected behavior. So why do we have a positive reinforcement system? Um, we try to talk to our teachers and our students about positive reinforcement. Is the reason sometimes that people learn to just intrinsically or naturally do the right thing. So as adults, we tend to do the right thing because over time we've learned that the right thing, what the right thing is. But we aren't naturally just born knowing what the right thing is to do, and sometimes we even grow up learning the wrong thing to do. And so it's important that we are explicit with our kids when telling them what the right thing is. Um, so when we do this, we want to make sure that we are using these strategies in order to teach kids what the right behavior, and what we're going to use are these things here, Bulldog bucks. And so we have our posters that are all over the building, as we mentioned in the last video. We have those expectations that we teach kids, but it's just as important to make sure that we're explaining to kids when they're doing the right thing that they are doing the right thing. So we use these Bulldog books in order to reinforce that. So when kids are doing the right thing, we may walk up to them and say, hey, here's a Bulldog book. I really appreciate that you're walking on the right side of the hallway when walking down from one class to another. Or here's a Bulldog book. I appreciate that you came into the classroom, sat down, and began working right away. So as always, telling kids why it is that we're doing that. And when we give those Bulldog books out, kids have the ability to then use those Bulldog books to reinforce whatever positive things that they want. So they have the opportunity to purchase things, such as buying the teacher's chair for the class period, or getting lunch with a principal, or getting lunch in the commons with a friend, getting additional time for a brain break, those type of things that the Bulldog books can pay for. And the Bulldog book itself helps kids be reinforced positively, but the end goal always is going to be to make sure that they're knowing why it is that they're receiving those Bulldog books, which is the positive behavior aspect of that. So that's really just a short explanation of our positive reinforcement system inside of the Bulldog Way. So when you see kids talking about and carrying these Bulldog books at home, ask them why it is that they got it, because that's the goal. And if they don't know, ask them to ask why it is that they're getting that Bulldog book. So over time, they start realizing that the right thing leads to positive things. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.